Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Kamilian, and in this series I share opinions of mine on TV shows, movies, etc. that have a high chance of falling into the minority. So with that, in my opinion, I believe that the Star Wars prequels are the best movies in the entire Skywalker saga. Now, I'm not trying to tell you this is a fact, nor am I trying to change your mind. All I'm asking is that you hear me out. In honor of the Skywalker saga, I'm going to do all of my points out of order. Now let's start off with maximum level button pushing. I don't believe that Luke is the best Jedi.
No.
Sure, he's powerful and ends up a good Jedi Master, but he goes from someone who lowered his weapon against the Emperor only to raise it again against a sleeping child. I mean, he literally threw his lightsaber away against the Emperor and raised it against his own nephew. Episode 8 seemed to do all but destroy Luke's legacy. Now let's just skip straight to this for the moment, comparing the prequels directly to the sequels for now. The prequels had a singular vision. Prequels also took many more risks. They also didn't rely on nostalgia. Witness the fall of the Jedi. I love the Jedi, and we get to see them at or near the height of their power in the prequels, for lack of better terminology. Watching the Jedi go about their peacekeeping duties and slowly getting roped further and further into the Emperor's political trap to get more directly involved with the war was thrilling. It was also genuinely heartbreaking watching the fall of the Jedi in Episode 3, and now having seen this and going back and watching Episodes 4, 5, and 6, it puts so much more weight and emphasis on some things said by characters in Episodes 4, 5, and 6. Take a conversation between Owen and Luke as an example. It's one that's so easily overlooked, one that seems so unimportant until you watch the prequels. Because then you realize how utterly true and soul-crushing a phrase is that Owen says to Luke when talking about Obi-Wan. He died about the same time your father did. Having now seen the prequels, and watching the painful way Obi-Wan refers to himself as Ben in the Kenobi series, everything that made Obi-Wan who he was, his faith, his joy, his light, was murdered, killed at the same time that Anakin was lost to the dark side. Anakin became Vader, Obi-Wan became Ben. Anakin and Obi-Wan died on Mustafar together. It was Vader and Ben who left. Qui-Gon Jinn. A terrific actor with a number of significant roles under his belt, Liam Neeson is undeniably gripping as the Jedi who trained Obi-Wan Kenobi and discovered Anakin Skywalker in The Phantom Menace. He exemplifies the calm, wise nobility that every Jedi is meant to have. There is a good argument to be made that Qui-Gon's death is the most important event that leads to Anakin's eventual downfall. He's a special Jedi Master in that he doesn't fully believe that the Jedi should be void of personal attachments. He believes in nurturing our capacity to care for one another and sees that Anakin's greatest strength is his passion and dedication to people he loves, a trait that the Jedi Council are constantly trying to hammer out of Qui-Gon Jinn. In his absence, Anakin is left without an experienced father figure willing to help him sort through his dark past in a healthy way. Qui-Gon is a brilliantly conceived character, one of the best from the prequel trilogy, and my only regret is we don't get to see more of him. Tragedy. Now, I mean tragedy in more than one way. People were so vocally upset over Jake Lloyd's performance as young Anakin that the poor kid left Hollywood forever. Fans complain that he's too sweet, too innocent, that Hayden Christensen as well is just a boring movie heartthrob, that none of that is the Vader that they want. But that's the thing. Neither of those actors actually played Darth Vader, with the exception of Hayden Christensen in the latter half of Episode 3 and the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series. They played Anakin Skywalker. But let's stop here for a sec. Now, I have no idea whether this is actually true or not, but to me, it seems and sounds like Hayden could have been making an attempt to copy basic vocal mannerisms of James Earl Jones when he was playing Darth Vader in episodes 4, 5, and 6. Think about it, you can't just have any guy off the street get put into Vader's suit and then just sound like James Earl Jones because reasons. He had to have some of those mannerisms in the first place. Having them play those characters in that way is exactly the point. It's why this characterization is genius. We have to sit through 3 whole movies following an affable protagonist we know will eventually become one of the greatest villains in cinema history. Every point leads up to tragedy. We know everything is doomed from the start, yet we yearn for things to go right anyway. All the heroes are making what seems to be the right decisions, but every step leads to the ultimate downfall of the Republic and the Jedi. A better love story. Whilst it's still far from a chick flick, it's also not the consistent back and forth of, I know you like me. Nope. Yeah, you do. Nope. You just want me to stick around longer. Nope. Yeah, this does climax with the famously improvised response of I know to Leia professing her love to Han, but that's it. That's all we get. In the prequels, we get a conflicting love story that goes back and forth on multiple levels, not just a verbal scale. Without going down that rabbit hole, to oversimplify it, it's like another Romeo and Juliet, or the whole forbidden love thing. They go down that rabbit hole just enough to keep us interested in that love story. Darth Maul. I mean, come on, this guy gave us our first live-action look at an alternate design to a lightsaber. Seeing the second side light up moments after the first, for me, was on the same level as Captain America using Mjolnir in Avengers Endgame. And his fight with Obi-Wan. Mwah! Chef kiss. Yoda didn't look like a muppet. Yeah, I know they initially had a puppet for Yoda in episode 1, but that has since been changed. Yoda in the originals was good for the time, but being able to watch intricate facial expressions, or his fight against Dooku, or the Emperor was phenomenal. There are so many things that you could not do with a puppet that you can do with CGI. And me, for one, when CGI is done right, I don't understand the hate it gets. But that's just me. Obi-Wan vs Anakin. This is a big one for me. Their final confrontation, in my eyes, is the best lightsaber duel we have ever seen to date, bar none. It was phenomenal and perfectly executed. From the raw emotion to the genuine level of skill and technique that both Ewan and Hayden showed, it had me glued to the screen, and definitely a highlight every time I rewatch the saga. On a larger scale, Nick Gillard, the person who choreographed the prequel lightsaber fights, brought everything in much closer and made the fights much faster than the originals. And anyone who has seen the originals, and you know what, let's throw the sequels in here as well, they'll tell you that all the lightsaber fights leave a lot to be desired. Looking back at episodes 4, 5, and 6 before their complete remaster, anyone could clearly see that the lightsabers weren't consistently full of light at all times, and the lightsabers are a little shaky and fragile, if you will. In the prequels, as was the case with a lot of other things, they rectified that problem. All lightsaber fights are excellent, and the weapons are just what they should have been. Impressive. This added to the prequel trilogy's greatness, and as I stated before, the fight scenes here are magnificent and leave the viewer impressed rather than dissatisfied. In these films, where the lightsaber is the main weapon of the Jedi's everywhere, this is what we needed. Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Casting Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi is like casting Viggo Mortensen for Aragorn, or Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. It was casting perfection. There's nothing more to say. The Clone Wars. The prequels set up and allow a truly amazing animated TV series, The Clone Wars. Seriously now, if you haven't seen it, go watch it after this video. The series delves even deeper into Anakin's descent, as well as introduces us to Ahsoka Tano. All of this happens in between episodes 2 and 3, and it is amazing. The level of detail they go into, the stories they share, and just fills in so many gaps. It's truly an amazing show. I highly recommend going and watching it. But back to episode 2, Attack of the Clones. The battle on Geonosis was glorious and perfectly executed, from the attempted execution to the Force and lightsaber battle with Dooku. It was a climactic end to episode 2. And we all finally got to see something we'd been hoping for. Yoda with a lightsaber. That's not something you can do with a puppet. Amazing soundtracks. Now, I'm going to stop this here. All 9 movies have amazing, beautiful soundtracks. They do. They really do. However, the prequels have something that the latter 6 do not. Duel of the Fates. The hairs on my arm stood up on end when I heard that couple of bars come through on the first Obi-Wan Kenobi teaser. Lastly, prequels set up the originals perfectly, unlike Rogue One. Hold on, whoa, put the torches and pitchforks down. I hear you. Rogue One is an amazing film. However, their best scene, and it really is a great scene. We all know what scene I'm talking about. It's the one that they added in at the last minute, right? It's right at the end of the movie. It's probably one of the only ones I really have a problem with, story-wise anyway. As I said, the scene itself is superb. It's the scene where Vader slaughters people on the way to attempt to retrieve the stolen Death Star plans, to end up standing on the end of a walkway as the rebel ship flies away. Or, I'm not sure if it's a rebel ship at this point. I'm not sure if they've labeled it as a rebel ship. Let's just... You know what ship I'm talking about. It flies away, and he watches it fly away. He sees the ship, right? In the beginning of episode 4, they see the ship. They catch that ship, dock, Force entry, and talk to Leia. And she has the balls to say, I'm on a diplomatic mission. Why did Vader not just not go, hey, no, Leia, I saw you fly away. I saw you. The best thing about this entire video is that the prequels, being better than the latter 6 movies, is just my opinion. At the end of the day, that's all it is. Just my opinion. Not fact. Now, I've got a lot of links down in the description about my my Discord, my Twitch, and a couple of other things. But look, ultimately, I really hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit that like and subscribe button if you have, and share the video around. Hopefully I'll see you all again next time, but most importantly, thank you for hearing me out. Regardless of your opinion, whether it aligns with mine or it's completely the opposite of mine, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Thanks for your time. Thank you for hearing me out. Bye.